Hey guys, and welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer card game review, and today's game up on the tabletop is Secret Hoard by Batdorf Games. This is a 2 to 4 player card game that is basically a game in which you're trying to gather the correct items and or colors to your secret hoard and or hand. On your turn, you're going to be gathering a number of cards from either the discard pile or the deck, and then you're going to be playing a card and doing its effect. And all to the purpose of gaining a set. Maybe you're going for kings or heroes, maybe you're going for swords, or maybe you're going for lightning bolts. It's really up to you. Each of the different sets requires a different number of cards available to that set and how many that you need. More cards in the deck means more cards you will need in your hand or hoard, and less cards means you will need less cards. And you could also just go for color. A certain number of a singular color is going to get you that set as well. And your objective is just simply to get that set by the end of your turn and reveal it. And if you have the set and the number required, you win the game. We'll talk about how to set the game up and how to play, and of course, my review. Secret Hoard begins by having the main deck shuffled, and then 3 cards are dealt to every single player, followed by 3 cards from the top of the deck going into the discard pile. From there, start with the first player, chosen randomly of course, and then begin the game. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about how to play the game, the Secret Hoard. Now, in this game, your main objective is, of course, to either gather a singular color of 12 cards, or to gather a single set of a singular type of card. Like, for instance, in the game, there might be a purple flower, and it says 6 out of 10, which means you'll need to have 6 of these 10 cards that are in the deck or your opponent's hands, and if you do have them in your hoard or hand, you win the game. To begin the game, you're first going to start by selecting to draw 2 cards. Now, you can draw these 2 cards from either the discard pile or the deck. And because the discard pile starts with 3 cards, you could choose either or both. And the way you can choose both is by simply drawing 1 card from the top of the deck and 1 card from the discard pile. And either or, 2 cards here, 2 cards here, or 1 from each. After you have drawn your cards, then you're going to go ahead and play a card. You'll take your card and place it down. Then you're going to read the effect. This card says reveal 2 cards in a target player's hoard. So if this player had cards in their hoard, they would have to reveal those cards and basically tell me a little bit about the type of cards they're going for when it comes to their sets. After I've played a card, then I'm going to go ahead and select a card from my hand to place it into my secret hoard. This is where I can store cards. It's generally protected. There's nothing that can really stop players or have players remove them from my hoard. It's pretty safe there. And after I've placed a card, if there are multiple cards here, I can choose to swap out a card from my hand with a card in the hoard. And then I'm going to pass. I'll discard the card that I played, and the next player will go ahead and have a chance to play. They'll draw 2 cards, they'll choose from the top of the deck here, they'll look at their hand, and they'll select a card to play, and they will put that card out, and then do what the card says. This says search and keep 2 cards from the top 3 cards of the main deck, and at the end of turn, place this card on the bottom of the discard pile. So I look at the top 3 cards here, I want this king and this nymph card. Then this is going to go here to the discard pile, and this card will go to the bottom of the deck. Then I'll select a card from my hand and place it into my hoard, and then if I'd like, I can choose and swap out a card from my hand to my hoard, and simply pass by discarding the card if there is one to discard. And we'll go back and forth and keep going until one player hits 12 of one singular color in their hoard and hand, or 1 set of any of the types of cards that you see in the deck. Now, the deck is going to have a variety of different symbols. It could have words, pictures, or basically like colored symbols like this red circle here. And then there's going to be a number next to another number. It says 7 out of 12. Well, 7 means that is how many you need to have in your hand or hoard to win the game by the end of your turn. And 12 means that is how many there are total amongst all the cards in play. So for instance, if I need 7 of these circles here, but there are 6 of them that are currently in players' hoards or hands, it's not possible for me to win with this circle, and I might have to choose something else and thusly change up my game plan. And the same is said for this flag, 5 out of 8. I only need 5 flags to win, but there's only 8 total in the entire deck. So while it is easier to obtain them, or it's easier to have a lower number, it's harder to obtain them, right? And that's the basic idea of the game. By the time your turn is over, before you discard your card to the discard pile, if you have the required number of cards from your set, you'll win. And here's an example. I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 heroes here. That's all the heroes in the entire deck. It's 6 out of 10. If I had 6 of these guys here, this is what I would need in my hand or my Hoard in order to win the game. The moment I get the entire set of required heroes, I will win. And you're just going to play back and forth until one player is able to do that. Will you be able to obtain the cards needed for your secret Hoard? Find out in the game, and of course, let me know what you think. Secret Hoard is a hand management game. This is a game about digging into the deck, your player's hands, and obtaining the cards that you need to complete your set. And then if you have a set back, you can choose a new category. And if you don't like the categories, maybe you've been hosed one too many times, you can start going for a singular type of a color and just gain 12 of those. Now, certain sets are going to be easier to get than others as far as the amount that is required, but there's a lower number of them in the deck, and you might not see them until the very end. So you have to be very careful about what cards you choose based on what you have. Start with 3 specific cards, like the Nymph. Maybe it's worth going for that, even though that's a smaller number than some other cards possibly. Obviously, Magic, there's only 6 in the entire deck. Sure, you can go for that card, you only need 4, but good luck getting it, especially if other players know that you're going for it. Maybe you've been stuffing Magic into your Hoard, and a player is able to play a card to take a peek and notice that that is a card that you indeed have. Or maybe if you have 2 of them, that even makes you more susceptible to players to take cards from your hand that are kind of based on that thing that you're looking for. And that's the idea of the game. Being able to draw from the discard pile and or the deck is a nice little twist, and I do really enjoy that aspect of the game. It gives me a lot more choice. Now if there's a Magic in the discard pile, I can take that card, which I can then later place into my Hoard, as opposed to it being gone forever or having to wait for an ability or a card effect that allow me to get it. But there are card effects in the game that do let you dig, and digging is very important in this game. And if you'll notice, there's a wide variety of cards that have a wide variety of different effects. You are able to destroy cards from the deck, search and keep cards from the top 5 of the deck, exchange cards from the hand of 2 players, search and keep cards from the discard pile, draw cards at random from a player's hand, revealing cards from the player's Hoard, freezing cards. This is a way in which you can turn the cards to the side, and they basically are kind of out of the game, and when they go back to the full 180, they'll come back into that player's hand, and so it's a way of kind of locking them out for a moment. And the abilities keep going. There's a wide variety of abilities and combinations of unique categories on both sides of the card, the top and the bottom. So basically, one card is going to be module. It will have your ability, and then it will have 2 unique categories and colors that you can utilize to win the game. And you have to kind of choose, like, based on the card's power, is it a card you want to play, or is it a card you want to keep in order to gain that specific category function in order to win the game? And I've had a lot of those questions throughout the game as I was playing, because I would have a number of cards that I want to keep. Maybe I've got a number of Magic cards, and I would want to hold onto those, and they have a special ability that I really want to use. And do I want to switch and have to go with circles instead, or the king instead? And that becomes a choice, as well as dealing with your opponents and them knowing what you have, utilizing their cards. Now, the more players in this game, the more likely there's going to be to ensue chaos. Cards are going to be a lot more harder to hold on to because it's a while longer until it gets to your turn, and the less players in the game, the more it becomes a game of digging and attrition, going back and forth and pulling cards. Oh, I need this Magic card here, I'll take this card here is going to let me dig and let me go into the top 4 here, and then I can pull out this other card that will hopefully let me get a Magic card at next turn. And then my opponent notices that in my Hoard I've been placing my Magic cards, and thusly they're going to dig and to look to make sure, and now they're going to try and remove them from my hand if I have any. And yeah, it's that type of a game. There's a little bit of aggression to it. There's a little bit of solitaire in which you're just kind of digging and searching for the specific cards that you need. The other thing I like about Secret Hoard too is, while it is just a deck of cards here, it's not something that can be conducive in playing with a poker deck. A lot of card games that are this size and this type is just basically a changed version of a poker deck. This thing is a unique style game with its own unique properties, its own unique color differentiations, and each card combination is different on each card as well as each of the abilities, so it can't be replicated by playing just a deck of cards and using that in a way. Like, for instance, remaking the game War, you could just use a deck of playing cards to do that. This is its own functional deck that has its own functional game all on its own. And it's all about hand management. So it's a game that is going to be familiar to you even if you're just a card player. My grandma can jump on board Secret Hoard and instantly begin to understand the game because the rules are written directly on the cards. Really, it says 5 out of 8. You know, you need 5 of these 8 cards to win the game. And at the end of your turn, you just simply win. And the only other aspect of the game is drawing and playing a card. Drawing cards is draw 2 of your selection, and then playing the card is literally do exactly what the card says. And they're pretty straightforward. Discard a card from your discard 1 card from the main deck. So you just take the card from the main deck and discard it. That's what that card specifically does. Reveal 2 random cards from a player's hoard. So this player's got 3 cards in their hoard. You'll take 2 at random, reveal them, look what they are. Oh, this player has 2 blue squares. They're likely going for those. I need to watch out for those cards, like this one here. Maybe I want to draw that to prevent them from getting it next time. And that's how the game works. So I really enjoy these type of simple games with some kind of direct strategy. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of luck other than, of course, what you pull from the deck. There is an amount of luck as far as getting what you need, but there's a lot of mitigation. Each of these cards is a unique style of mitigation, whether it's mitigation from your opponent winning, mitigation in terms of the luck ability that comes with drawing cards, digging and all that good stuff. It works really well. I really like the back style of the cards, the beautiful style of secret hoarding. I kind of wish that the theme was different. I don't even really know what the theme to this is. It has a unique set of different characters like the hero and the king, and so on and so forth, the nymph. I kind of wish they were just all one specific type of category as far as like I had Arthur and this guy and that guy. Or maybe they just should be all shapes, right, and colors. I don't know why there's a differentiation between shapes, pictures, and text. I think it'd be easier to just have specifically one type of thing with the different colors and whatnot. I'm not sure. I don't really know the reason behind that. The other thing, too, is when it says for you to dig into the deck for some reason, it'll be like, oh, dig into the deck, search for 4 cards from the top, and then select one of them or whatever. And it doesn't say what to do with the rest of them. Do I just put them back on any order? Do I put them into the discard pile? I looked in the rules, I couldn't figure that out either. Maybe some type of clarification. It does have clarifications in the rules. Now, this was a very small rulebook, very easy game to understand, but a little bit more clarification on, I think 1 or 2 cards is pretty much all I need from this game. And then the graphic design on the back of the cards, I would probably switch up a little bit as well. Like I said, just changing the shape of the stylization of the card as well as the symbols and kind of make it a little bit more of a cohesive theme. In fact, I would do, since this is like a secret hoard of treasures, I would have each different item be a type of thing you'd find in like a dragon's den or like a king or magician's type of a vault. And that's kind of what I would do for that. But as far as the game specifically goes, it's fun. It's light, it's family friendly, it's a game that anybody can jump into, and you can teach this game in probably 2 minutes and get the game going on and play it in roughly 10 to 25 minutes, depending on the number of players playing the game. Obviously, like most games in my opinion, I would suggest you play with as many players as possible. The higher the player count, the better it is for this game. And it was an overall enjoyable game. That was pretty much all of my thoughts as far as negatives go, but otherwise it's a very positive experience. It's a lot of fun, and mechanically I really, really enjoyed it. We'll see on the Kickstarter campaign what they come up with and the stylization, maybe the changes, I don't know, but it'll be up to you, and I suggest you take a look in the link in the description where you can go ahead and pick this game up. Thank you guys for watching another Unfiltered Gamer card game review for the game Secret Hoard by Batdorf Games. I think this is one of the many games I've reviewed from these guys here, and I believe this is probably one of my favorites. It has a really cool like categorical and like color system, hand management feel to it, and I played multiple times like throughout the night. We jump back into it, play with a few higher player counts, and when my friends and neighbors left and we played just the 2-player variation, we got a lot of games in, so maybe that tells you something. But you can also go ahead and check it out for yourself. Determine if it's right for you. I probably will be playing this live on our stream this Sunday, so you can see it played live and determine if it's a game that's right for you, to determine based on the price point and the stylization, the graphics, all that kind of stuff, as well as, of course, mainly the gameplay. You can also go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you appreciate our reviews, you appreciate the content we create. Please do so. It does greatly help us out, and we do greatly appreciate it. And as I said, the live stream is every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. PST, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and we'll probably make an appearance on TikTok eventually here, or maybe Kick. I don't know. We'll do another one most likely. Maybe switch off of Facebook. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. And as always, I look forward to creating and delving into my secret hoard, but not with you next time.